So first of all, before I kick into what I'd like to say, I want to just say thank you to everyone who came tonight, and especially to my parents are here, my cousins are here, Renee, to my colleagues at Nuveen, Bank of New York, McKinsey. There's just a ton of people here, and I just want to say thank you for coming tonight. So Jasmine was a summer intern that we had at Nuveen a few years ago, and I want to tell you a story about her. So one day she mentioned to her manager that she didn't feel well. And when her manager asked her what was wrong, she said that she and her family had been in a car accident the night before. And they'd been rear-ended and the car was totaled. And they couldn't afford to go to the hospital, so she didn't get the care that she needed, and she was sitting at her desk in pain. So now that her mom's car was totaled, both she and her mom would have to figure out how to get to work. And I realized right there that the safety net that I have, that I grew up with, doesn't exist for people in poor communities, and how quickly a downward spiral can really begin. So now the good news is that her team got together, brought her a bus pass, and got her able to commute to her job, and they encouraged her to continue her internship. Now these experiences, they change people's lives. It's what you've heard about tonight. We changed Jasmine's life, but I will tell you, she changed our life too. When I spoke with her at the end of her internship, she said that she felt so much more confident to be able to get at difficult problems and be able to solve problems. And that's really a great example of this development that you're hearing about from the All-Stars. So in Chicago, by the way, this is our hero in Chicago right here, David Cherry. He's awesome. Julie Leonard's out here somewhere too. Julie makes it happen. Julie's awesome. Congratulations to Julie. So we have this growing reputation, though, in Chicago, and I know this from living in New York and moving out to Chicago about 10 years ago, that we live in a dangerous city, and that's this reputation, I think, is gaining traction. It's actually true, but it's only true if you live on the south and west sides. In those neighborhoods, you're 20 times more likely to be a victim of gun violence, and you're 100% guaranteed to be living in an area where there's a desperate need for development and economic opportunity. Leaders in Chicago are concerned that this reputation is going to have a negative impact on the city, and that's really where the All-Stars comes in. Since launching in Chicago 11 years ago, we've built deep relationships in 80 organizations that have provided almost 400 paid internships. In total, we've reached over 35,000 young people through internships, through community outreach, and through talent shows. 35,000 people have been talked to by this guy, I can tell you that. Over the next 2 years, we're focused on building a center in downtown Chicago. So why is downtown so important? It's important for a couple of reasons. One is that our centers, and we have one in New York, as you saw, and one in Newark, our centers are places where the business community and young people from poor communities can come together, and they form relationships, and that ability to build a bridge between the two communities is critical. The second is our young people need to know that they're welcome in these buildings downtown. I've had so many young people say to me that they don't think they're allowed inside these buildings downtown. So the simple act of feeling like you belong in a building in downtown Chicago is an important step in a young person's development, and it's a step toward opportunities that can change their lives. So I look at this room tonight, and first of all, I know we can raise a lot more than $300. We heard that number before, which was pretty amazing. But I look at this room tonight, and what I know is that we can eradicate this problem of poverty. So I have 3 asks of you. The first is provide internships at your companies. These development experiences are transformative. And I will tell you, not just for the young people themselves, but for the employees. And it's changed my life, it's changed the lives of my colleagues at Nuveen, and I know that you'll really get something out of these experiences. The second is attend a talent show. You saw this talent tonight. If you go to a talent show, you'd see 10 acts like that. It's incredible. But the biggest reason that you want to go to see one of these talent shows is that the simple act of you being there, of you showing that you care, is so meaningful to young people. And the third, where are my young people? Raise your hand at the table. I would ask you to make sure that you talk to the young people in this room. They are incredible. My brother, who's here with my sister-in-law, he was saying earlier that these kids are such great conversationalists that he was a little intimidated. They're really, really amazing young people. So if you really talk to them and you listen to them, this is the next generation, and these are really amazing young people. And I will tell you, young people, I saw this before, get some business cards. Do not leave that table without getting business cards. This is where the opportunity begins. So the All-Stars Project is really a way that we're leveling the playing field for young people in poor communities. And through the All-Stars, we can change the course of young people's lives, like Jasmine, who in turn changed our lives. So just in closing, I want to say that Renee and I are very honored to be part of the All-Stars Project, and we know that everyone in this room together, we can change the world. Thank you.